The Nazi obsession with the occult did not emerge from superstition alone, nor was it a harmless eccentricity confined to candlelit rooms and esoteric manuscripts. It was a deliberate ideological project, carefully cultivated within the upper echelons of the Third Reich, designed to provide spiritual legitimacy to a regime that sought to rewrite history, biology, and destiny itself. At its core, this obsession was an attempt to anchor modern mass murder in ancient myth, to dress genocide in the robes of fate and destiny. The Nazis did not merely want power over territory, they wanted dominion over time, ancestry, and meaning. They believed that if they could control the past, its symbols, its relics, its myths, they could justify the future they intended to impose upon the world. No figure embodied this dangerous fusion of fantasy and bureaucracy more completely than Heinrich Himmler. As Reichsfuhrer SS, Himmler was not simply the administrator of terror, he was its high priest. He despised Christianity, viewing it as a foreign imposition that had weakened the German soul with ideas of mercy, humility, and universal human worth. In its place, he envisioned a new spiritual order rooted in what he believed to be ancient Germanic paganism, stripped of compassion and rebuilt around blood, soil, and obedience. To Himmler, the SS was not merely a military organization, but a knightly order, an elite brotherhood bound by ritual, myth, and racial purity. Their black uniforms, skull insignia, and torchlit ceremonies were not theatrical excesses. They were sacraments in a new, brutal religion. Central to this imagined spiritual revival was the Holy Grail. In Himmler's mind, the Grail was not a Christian symbol of divine grace, but something older, pure, and far more powerful. He believed it to be a relic from a primordial Aryan civilization, a source of mystical energy capable of granting wisdom, power, and even immortality. The Grail, he thought, could become the spiritual heart of the Reich, a talisman that would confirm Germany's destiny as ruler of the world. This was not metaphorical belief. Himmler funded expeditions, assigned researchers, and reorganized institutions in pursuit of this object. The search for the Grail became state business. To lead this quest, he turned to Otto Rahn, a young medievalist whose romantic theories aligned perfectly with Nazi mythmaking. Rahn believed that the Grail was not a chalice but a sacred stone, guarded by the Cathars, a medieval Christian sect deemed heretical by the Catholic Church and exterminated during the Albigensian Crusade. According to Rahn, the Cathars were heirs to ancient Aryan wisdom, and their last stronghold, the mountain fortress of Montségur in southern France, concealed the Grail itself. Himmler was captivated. He saw in Rahn's work a bridge between myth, history, and racial ideology. Rahn was absorbed into the Ahnenerbe, an SS research institute created to fabricate scholarly legitimacy for Nazi racial theories. Officially, the Ahnenerbe studied archaeology, folklore, linguistics, and anthropology. In reality, it was a factory of pseudoscience, tasked with proving that Germans were the direct descendants of a superior ancient race. Under its banner, scholars were encouraged or coerced to twist evidence, invent connections, and erase contradictions. The line between research and propaganda dissolved entirely. Yet Rahn himself was a tragic contradiction within the system he served. He was intellectually sincere, deeply romantic, and increasingly disillusioned by the brutality surrounding him. Worse still, he carried secrets that made him expendable in the eyes of the regime. He was homosexual, and rumors circulated that he had Jewish ancestry. As the Grail failed to materialize and political pressure mounted, Rahn fell from favor. In 1939, he was found dead in the Tyrolean Alps, officially ruled a suicide. Whether he jumped, was pushed, or simply saw no escape from the machinery he had helped feed remains uncertain. His death became another quiet casualty of the myths he once believed could redeem history. Even after Rahn's demise, legends persisted. Long after the war, rumors claimed that Otto Skorzeny, Hitler's most famous commando, had successfully retrieved the Grail from the Pyrenees during a secret SS mission. The story spread because it was irresistible, a relic of infinite power recovered at the climax of history's darkest conflict. Yet records show Skorzeny was fighting on the Eastern Front at the time. The myth survived not because it was true, but because it reflected how deeply the Nazi imagination had infected popular culture. The lie felt more plausible than the banality of reality. The Grail was only one piece of Himmler's spiritual architecture. Equally important to Himmler was a Roman text written nearly 2,000 years earlier, Tacitus Germania. This manuscript, which described the customs and appearance of ancient Germanic tribes, became for Himmler a sacred scripture. Tacitus's observations, filtered through Roman bias and limited contact, were elevated into proof that the German people were once racially pure, noble, and uncorrupted. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and tribal loyalty were transformed from historical descriptions into biological imperatives. Himmler treated Germania as a racial Bible. He ordered SS officers to study it,
cited it in speeches, and used it to justify policies of sterilization, deportation, and extermination. The Holocaust did not emerge from madness alone. It was rationalized through texts like this, stripped of context and weaponized as destiny. Himmler became obsessed with acquiring the oldest surviving copy of the manuscript, the Codex Asinus, which was owned by an Italian nobleman. Diplomatic pressure, intimidation, and negotiation followed, but the Count refused to surrender it. The Nazis eventually settled for a facsimile, though the original nearly vanished forever when it was damaged in a flood decades later, a near erasure that mirrored how close Europe came to losing its moral foundation entirely. Himmler's hunger for Aryan origins did not stop at Europe. In 1938, as war loomed, he authorized one of the most bizarre expeditions of the Nazi era, a mission to Tibet. Led by zoologist Ernst Schaefer, the expedition sought evidence that survivors of the mythical civilization of Atlantis had migrated to the Himalayas and were ancestral cousins of the German master race. The journey was framed as scientific research, but its goals were mystical and ideological. Anthropologist Bruno Beger accompanied the expedition, tasked with measuring skulls, noses, eye sockets, and facial angles of Tibetan villagers. These measurements, taken with cold precision, were meant to uncover traces of Nordic features. Privately, many of the scientists recognized the absurdity of Himmler's beliefs, but laughter offered no protection. Data was collected, photographs taken, bodies reduced to numbers. Beger would later use similar methods on Jewish prisoners in Auschwitz, selecting victims for execution so their skeletons could be displayed as racial specimens. The line from mysticism to murder was not blurred, it was straight. Artifacts, too, became objects of obsession. None captured the Nazi imagination more powerfully than the Amber Room. This lavish chamber of amber panels and gold leaf, constructed in the 18th century and gifted to Russia, was regarded as the eighth wonder of the world.